Well, welcome to Comcast Newsmakers inside the Indianapolis Public Library. Joining me now is Superintendent of Lawrence Township Schools, Concetta Raimondi. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Thank
Welcome.
you for having me.
Talk to us a little bit about education. You've been an educator for a while. How does Indiana fare when it comes to education?
I fear that Indiana is beginning to slip further and further behind other states, and it's around some real fundamental things that we are or are not doing. As I look at the state of public education in particular, I don't believe that we have really addressed through what our data tells us, what our research tells us. I don't think we've truly addressed what we must do for children. For example, we know from decades of research that children who live in poverty, particularly urban areas or rural areas, they need additional supports prior to ever entering kindergarten. And yet we do not have a robust preschool program for children who need those additional supports. So by the time they get into a traditional school setting, they are so far behind in terms of their auditory discrimination skills, their verbal skills, even number sense. And I know for educators, we see that as a very challenging situation if we're to really address the needs of children who come with these challenges. So I look at that. I look at the fact that we know from a great deal of research that some children will not benefit from a 180-day school year. It is imperative that they have an extended school year where they remain engaged academically, because they don't come from households that can engage them in academic summer camps or band camps, or take them on vacations where they will be exposed to various things that will enrich them intellectually. And so I see for those children, the 180-day school year is not sufficient, yet there's not sufficient money to extend their time in school another 20, 25 days, which I believe is critical for their ongoing academic success. Finally, I see Indiana falling further and further behind in terms of technological development in schools. We know that many children thrive in using technology, and yet with some of our tax caps and our revenue situations that we have, the very fund that needs to be more robust, our capital project funds, that's beginning to diminish. And so I really see that it's a strain on schools to try to keep schools in good repair while at the same time ramp up the very necessary technology that we need to help educate our children well. So it's a dilemma.
You think, though, that funding's probably going to be the biggest obstacle for a lot of those?
Oh,
like
I think
when it comes to technology and early education programs, and it all seems comes down to money, doesn't it?
I think that that's where we need to step back and truly look at the research instead of heading down paths of political ideologies. We need to look at research and decide once and for all, what is it going to take to educate all children well, just not some children, and then put our resources in alignment with those principles rather than something else around economic development or perhaps privatization.
I see hope, though, right, for the future?
Always. I couldn't be in education if I weren't optimistic.
How long have you been in the education field?
39 years.
Probably seen a lot of changes, right?
A lot of changes, some for the better, some are actually regressions, but and still, we have remarkable young people with great families in Lawrence Township and points throughout the state. So.
Well, thank you for your insight. I appreciate it. Thanks for stopping.
It was my pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me.
I'm Taylor Bennett for Comcast Newsmakers.